All right, welcome to another edition of Buc What You Heard. My name is Gene. You can reach me at Super Heavyweight on Twitter, and you follow me, I'll follow back. And I'm once again honored to have my special guest, longtime friend Princess Nikki, who I'm very jealous of. That's going to be at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the Saints game. Now a meaningful game with the Minnesota Vikings losing to the Arizona Cardinals just now. So these games are a lot more meaningful as we move forward. How are you
Is
doing?
that I'm good. Is that game over? Is it
Yes,
already over? Oh, and they won? Okay.
yes,
Sorry.
Cardinals won.
Long day. That's good. That's a good thing. I'm doing well though. Getting things wrapped up for my semester, so it's been
That is
hectic, but I'm ready for vacation.
that is awesome. So, we were talking before the show. We were talking a little bit about the game, and what are your thoughts? Could you have imagined going all the way back to the draft and thinking about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? I know you kind of want to temper your expectations. Could you believe that ESPN, CBS, Fox News, Fox Sports, they're all talking about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as a potential playoff teams? Could you imagine that?
I think it was funny because people are so impulsive. I mean, we've gone off on our fan base. I don't know how many every time we're together,
Yeah.
but it's funny because I remember at the beginning, it's like everyone's predicted the Bucs to go 0-16, and there was that big old hype over that article, and I'm just sitting
Yeah.
there like it's not going to be that way. I mean, did I expect playoffs? No. I mean, to be completely honest, I don't think I even really expect it right now. I think even if we won out, I think the games like Washington or New York are going to come back and bite us in the butt. You can't have errors like that and them not sting later. So, I mean, of course, I'm rooting for the playoffs. I think it would be a phenomenal thing for Jameis to get that far in his first year, just from a confidence standpoint. Not that the kid lacks any, but
Yeah.
I don't think it would hurt. Can we win out? It's possible. I'm kind of scared for this upcoming game. I think it could be a trap game, but as long as we have our foot on the gas, I mean, we can hang a good 35 on them, I think, because they don't even know what the hell a defense is anymore.
I was thinking about that. I was listening to the broadcast last night, and they had Steve White on, and Steve White and Old School were talking, and it's true. You're exactly right. Drew Brees can light your ass up at any time. He's still a very dangerous quarterback, regardless of what people say about him. You saw what he did to the Carolina Panthers, but at the same time, I think the Panthers kind of possibly overlook the Saints, looking towards the next game. But Drew Brees did make that game competitive, and just with same with the Bucks, we can't overlook the Saints, and this could be as you mentioned, a trap game.
Yeah, I'm nervous for that, and I definitely think that the game after that, going, you know, any given Sunday, of course we play on Thursday, but any given Sunday, um, anybody can win, but the statistics just go against a team traveling on the Thursday night game.
Yeah,
And the Rams are one of those teams, you don't know what team is showing up.
yeah, and
They've definitely struggled, but they pulled out some games in quite rare fashion that's not really characteristic of them. So
yeah,
I think that
and,
one's going to be hard. If we can get past the Saints, I'm worried still about the Rams game. And even the Bears. The Bears are a lot better than people give them
yeah,
credit for. And then the Panthers, I think we have a good chance against them because I think our first game would have been different. Like I said, if we had a kicker, I think we've mentioned that the last time I was on your show.
right.
But I don't think all four of these games are winnable, but they're also not anything to sleep on either.
Yeah, absolutely. But it does give you confidence to see the way the Tampa Bay Buccaneers came back and won that game. This was a game where they were finally down in the fourth quarter, and they drove the length of the field and they won the game. So to me, that's a positive because we haven't seen that for a long time. Not since 2010 with Josh Freeman have we seen where the Buccaneers can be down and potentially win a game.
That
And
was even actually 2009 because
yeah,
in 2009 we were the fourth quarter comeback team. And
yeah,
then no, you're right. You're right. It was 2010 because 2011 was the
was
year
the
that
horrible year for the four.
we were 3-1 the game I went in to see, San Francisco versus the Bucs, and both teams were 3-1. And San Francisco got up on us in the first quarter, and I was like, "It's okay, we're the fourth quarter comeback team." And by halftime, I shut up real quick.
Yeah.
We lost
Yeah,
like 48-3. It was
yeah,
terrible.
because the Bucks, that was their 10-win season with Raheem Morris,
You're right,
and
2010. Yeah.
yeah, that was an exciting season for me. And just being able to go to a game. I hadn't been to a game. I swore I wouldn't go to a game during the Schiano era, and I didn't. And it was. I'm glad to see the Buccaneers progressing. They're learning how to win. They aren't getting down. Everybody, I think, a lot of people don't believe it, but I think teams feed off of people that are positive, people that are confident. What you see with Jameis Winston, uh, it's contagious. And what you see on the other side of the ball with Quan Alexander, it's contagious. People are starting to play a lot more aggressive, and we're starting to see uh, this team evolve into something a lot better than what it was.
I definitely agree with you. And, anybody going back to the days of 98.7 The Fan, talking with Booger all the time, a
Yeah.
team like this needs to learn how to win. You have to learn how to win before we can, we have to learn how to crawl before we walk. I think you and I talked about it the last
Yeah.
time. It's funny how these narratives
Yeah.
keep coming up, but it's true.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I like about talking with you so much, is that we've been kind of level-headed through this whole process. We've
Right.
said we got to learn how to crawl before we walk. We keep repeating ourselves in a sense, but it's true. And I think there's something that is intangible to the fact that once was Doug's fumble in the third or fourth quarter? I think it was in the early fourth, right?
It was early fourth quarter. Yeah.
Early fourth quarter. And I just remember seeing Twitter, and Derek mentioned it on his show yesterday. The morale in the stadium after that fumble was just like, oh shit, here we go. Here we go again. We're gonna somehow lose this game. And I'm not gonna lie, I was watching the game myself thinking, oh, come on. but having Jameis on the team just gives you the hope that maybe not. And they literally, the defense went out, we got our stop. He drove down the field with him, an amazing run. We're
Yes.
going to be talking about that play for the next 15 years, I guarantee you.
That play was legendary.
It was. It
Let me tell
was.
you
The
where I
overcoming that
was.
adversity is something
Uh,
that we hadn't done before. This team had not done that. And we're taking that baby step. We're learning how to crawl, and we will start walking real soon.
yeah. And if you look at Jameis Winston from college, taking adversity and moving forward, not ever giving up on a game. And we've seen that time and time again during the national championship year, the year after the national championship, when he had less talent and he was still able to put that team on his shoulder and win games.
I
So
think
it's
I remember too at Florida State, and I'm sure Florida State fans could correct me, but I remember watching one of their games where they were down by like 24 points, and he came back and led them to victory
yes,
again.
yes.
It was like
And
24 points. I can't remember, but I do remember watching that game. So, and I'm not a Florida State fan, but I remember that game.
Well, and see, that's what I'm saying. That's what really is getting the fans involved. A lot of the naysayers, you can't help it. If you're a true Bucks fan and you see this team winning, you see this team maturing and learning how to win, like we've been talking about, you can't help but like this kid, and you can't help but like what he's doing and what he brings to this team. And I mean, week in and week out, I can give you so many examples. The kid from the practice squad that was jawing with the Colts fan that was bad mouthing Jameis, and Jameis pulls him away and says, "Hey, don't get caught up in that." Just showing that leadership. At
Right.
this point in time, I really do believe he needs that C on his chest. He really does. He's earned it, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. I mean, to me, that's so petty. It's just a little patch. It doesn't matter because, and I think was it Jason Light or Levy Smith, one of them? I don't know. They know who the leader in that locker room is. You don't need that C on your chest to be the leader. I mean, that's the symbolic thing. But to me, I don't care. You do it how you do it. Let Jameis be Jameis,
Yeah. Yeah,
I agree with
I hear
you.
what you're saying.
I think that he will get, and he'll get that seat. That's
Oh
no
yeah,
big.
absolutely, absolutely. But just what he's meant to this team is just something in itself.
Yeah, definitely. He's been a game changer for us for sure, and it's
Yeah,
nice to feel, even just to feel like we have hope after Doug
yeah,
fumbles and not feel completely depleted. Just having the hope is a step forward for this team
absolutely.
and for the fan base.
Yeah, most definitely. And one thing I do want to talk about is the draft picks and over the past couple of years. And we can see all the contributions that the draft picks from last year's draft, year before, and even this draft here, all the contributions these players are making. And this is how you build a foundation for a successful franchise, is being able to pick the right player that fits in your system and them being able to excel. I mean, I look at Quan Alexander, great example. I'm personally looking at Kenny Bell and Ali Marpet were my two guys that I thought would be big impact players for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And Ali Marpet has done very well for himself, but I did not expect Quan Alexander to leapfrog over all these players that Lovie Smith brought in to play this position. It just speaks volumes about how good they've done, the organization has done with the draft.
Yeah, I mean that's credit to Jason Light too. That's mostly what he's in charge of. Not mostly. That's kind of overbearing the word there,
Yeah.
but that's Jason Light's deal. And he
Yeah.
brought in he helped Arizona build their teams. Like
Yes.
a couple years ago when they made their big run, and they're still doing well off of.
Yeah.
I'm sure that I don't know. I'd have to go back and look, but I'm
Yeah.
sure.
Teron Matthews, the
Yeah,
Honey Badger. He's the one that vetted him and decided that the media was wrong. They were going to give him a chance, and they took a chance on him, and he's paying dividends. He played well tonight. Just that just shows what kind of eye for talent that he has. And the one thing that I think we talked about this on the last show. I really appreciate Jason Light in, if he makes a mistake, he's going to correct the mistake and move on from it. So it's good to have a general manager that's not scared to say, hey, I'm not going to hang on to this guy, or this guy wasn't the right choice, and just move on from that, and just kind of put it behind him. So I'm real happy with him.
oh yeah, definitely. I told Jason Light a couple weeks ago, and everyone was kind of on his ass on Twitter about, well, we were losing or whatever the case may be. But I told him, I was like, not everybody feels that way, and I'm sorry
Yeah.
that people talk to you that way, but I think that I've seen more from you that's positive than negative. And I told him that myself, and him and I had a little exchange, and it was good stuff.
Yeah.
But
Awesome.
you can't just jump on people. I love the way that this season has progressed, and I think it was
Me
on the
too.
Bucs brief the other night. I don't know if Chris Fisher was quoting Lovie Smith or whatever, but the way that we went in the quarters of the seasons, 1-3, 2-2, 3-1, and now if we could get to 4-0 at the end of this season, and just having those kind of progressions, I think is really cool. If we don't make the playoffs, I'm not going to be heartbroken, to be completely honest. I am more than happy with this season.
Yeah, I am too. I mean, 6 wins, 6 wins is where I had them at, and anything more is a positive. I'm just happy with the direction they're going. I'm happy to see improvement game after game after game after a disastrous season like last season, which it was a negative. It turned into a positive, getting a offensive coordinator and a starting quarterback. So I won't dwell too much on that, but I will say it was a struggle last season. You were right there with me, losing game after game after game. So just being here and being even in the conversation of playoffs, even if we don't get there, is exciting for me.
I know. I was telling somebody else the other day, I was like, look, we're even in the picture of the playoff picture. Like, our graphic is there. That doesn't happen for us.
Yeah.
So it's a nice positive change. It feels good. It feels not, it feels good to finally wear my Buck stuff around and people be like, hey, your team's playing well. And I'm like, right? Like,
Yeah, you know what? That I was, I feel in the same way. I for years and years and years, I've worn Buck stuff here in Phoenix, and I've gotten everything from "What did you lose a bet?" to eventually your team will do good, and I'm sorry, your team's not doing good, to now, somebody sees you with it on. They're like, wow, I like your team. Who's that running back that you have? And just
Oh
being
yeah,
able
because I'm
to.
finding a bunch of new Bucks fans. I'm like,
Oh yeah,
I keep pretty close tabs on who's a Bucks fan in Albuquerque. I
same
have
here.
inventory, and all of a sudden I keep finding new ones. I'm like, oh yeah,
Yeah,
where were you? Because I've
yeah,
been here my whole life.
yeah. And I've seen two Jameis Winston jerseys and a Doug Martin jersey around here. So
Nice. I saw
it's
a guy at a concert with a Jameis jersey. It was a jersey or a shirt. I think it was a jersey, and it was before the season even started. And I'm like, who are you? I don't know you, and this city is not that big.
exactly. So is there like a spot to watch Bucks games there?
I think that's anywhere that I'm at because I
Yeah,
have
there you go.
I have a clan of a couple Bucks fans, and it seems like they don't all come at once. But
Uh,
there's my friend Scott, and he brings his daughter, and then this other guy Lionel, he doesn't ever sit with us, but he's always there. And I go to this one Applebee's
uh,
because I can get this TV in a corner that I can turn the volume up. Nobody bugs me there. Everybody knows me there.
uh,
And like it's not as competitive to get a TV there versus like Buffalo Wild Wings or something,
right,
those
right.
big places. And he's like, Applebee's has the ticket, and I'm like, yes, it does, and I'm gonna go there. So I tell every Bucks fan that lives on my side of town, I'm like, if you need somebody to watch the games with, I'm there every
Yeah,
Sunday. Like unless I'm at the game, I'm there every Sunday.
yeah. There's a New Orleans Saints bar. It's called the Angry Crab, and I went there for the draft to watch the draft, and me and the owner, we went back and forth. We're talking about the season. They were talking about they were going to sweep us again this year, and it was a little healthy battle back and forth. But I've been thinking about going there for the game this weekend and checking it out. But so far, we haven't talked for a long time. You haven't been on. What, it's been about 2, 3 shows you haven't been on since you've been on it.
Probably.
Yeah. So, how have you enjoyed it, and what are you looking forward to doing? What are you looking for when you're going to watch this game coming up on Sunday?
What am I looking for? Good question. I try not to put expectations. You know me. Like I didn't even
Yeah.
like to make a prediction at the beginning of the
Well,
season.
like for me, I look at certain players. Like when I was at the game, I watched Quan Alexander the most. I watched Doug Martin, and I watched Jameis Winston especially, because there are so many times on TV when they flash off of players, and I have to wait to watch all 22 in order to catch everything.
After you
So
watch all 22 film broadcasts are they just leave so much to be desired, huh? So bad. I'm like, I hate like they're watching the pocket, and like Jameis wants to throw, and I'm like, but I don't know who's open because
yeah, exactly.
I can't see what he sees.
Yeah.
It's
So
so awful. Okay, to answer your question, the first thing that popped into my mind is what is the defense going to do to stop Drew Brees? Because if the New Orleans Saints know nothing about defense, that's all great and whatever. But like we said, the Drew Brees is still a good quarterback, and he
oh,
can
absolutely.
still make something out of nothing with that crap team that he's got around him.
Yeah, absolutely.
What did they put up on the Panthers? Wasn't it 35 points, something like that?
Yeah. 31, something like that.
31, 35, somewhere around there. But
Yeah.
I want this defense to hold him, and they've improved, man. We were letting people score 31 on us, and then holding people to 6 or 9, whatever. I don't remember. It's been a long season.
Yeah.
But what are we gonna do to stop this? If somehow we could obviously outscore them, but outscore them in a fashion that's like, wow, Drew Brees didn't get more than 20 points. Like I want something like that from the defense. I want to
Right.
see how the defense is going to contain him because he's going to be hard to contain. But
Yeah, yeah, I
I
definitely
want
agree
to
with
see
you
that.
there. Yeah, for me, the big thing that I'm looking for is a secondary, more improvement from the secondary. And that's, Sterling Moore had a great game. And I don't think that kid gets enough credit for how he's been playing. I know he had a bad game against the Colts, but what was it? 54% of the plays were nickel defense, I believe, in that game, and they were playing way off of those receivers, which made them susceptible for the short passes. So
Right.
I'm not sure why they don't go more man. I don't know if Lovey's not comfortable with the man-to-man yet, but you saw a lot more man-to-man with the Atlanta Falcons, and hopefully you'll continue to see that aggressive defense with this weekend coming up. But that's one of my big things is just improvement in the secondary now. I've been really happy with them.
Yeah, I definitely think it's coming together. It's starting to come together. It's no longer these games where it's our offense played phenomenal and our defense gave it up, or our defense did its part, but our offense was dropping too many balls, or special teams was a disaster, or special teams was the only good thing. Like those, all three phases are starting to come together, and we're starting to be able to put games in a collective effort, and we're not quite there, but it's happening. It's going to gel together, and it sucks that the season's almost over
Yeah.
if we don't make the playoffs. But the season is almost over, but it's starting to happen, and it just gives so much to look forward to coming, upcoming draft and next year's season. It's just going to get better from here on out.
Absolutely. This is where they can now focus on the defense in the draft and get some players in there. And like we talked about in the beginning of the show with injuries, and I think Dirk Cutter said it best. When you have injuries, you have other players that are able to step up like Die, like Adam what is
Tony Humphreys,
Adam Humphreys. Players
Tony
like this.
McDaniel.
Yeah, players that are able to step in and play, and it just creates more depth for you. So to me, when a player can come in and substitute and you win the game, to me that's a double bonus. So once we get regular players back, like your Gerald McCoys, like your wide receiver, we have a wide receiver that was injured. Who's our wide receiver? Who's
Louis
the slot?
Murphy.
Louis Murphy. Thank you,
I
Louis
love
Murphy.
Louis Murphy, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah, Louis Murphy is a
I was on the free Louis Murphy train, and then he got hurt, and it was awful.
yeah. I mean, but he was balling. He was balling before he got hurt. Great
No,
slot
he was
receiver.
balling, but I felt like he needed more.
Yeah,
I
and
felt
that's the
like he
same.
was
And
just
I
that
think that,
clutch player.
and you were the one last year, and I tell people this all the time. I was talking about Pamphil. Pamphil needed more snaps, and he didn't get them, and he really should have. I mean, I think he's playing good, and hopefully he can compete for a starting position.
Right. Well, I mean, even if he doesn't, having him for depth is good. We've seen what it's like to not have a good offensive line. So
Yeah,
having,
absolutely.
people like Kevin Pemphil as depth is just a good thing. I mean, it
Yeah,
can't get worse.
yeah.
So.
So with this game on Sunday, are you going to the tailgate?
Yeah, of course I'm going to tailgate.
No, I'm saying I
Come
just
on,
had to
crazy.
ask. I had to bring that. I had to bring that up.
Yes, I will be at the tailgate.
Yeah, and I'm still jealous of you that you're getting to go to this game. I
Whatever, you got to
did.
go to the last game.
Yeah, this is true, but I want it all. I might not be able to be greedy. Uh, it was amazing. Doug Williams getting inducted into the Hall of Fame, into the Ring of Honor. I was glad to be there. That guy meant so much to Tampa, to longtime Tampa Bay Buccaneers fans. One of the guys that took the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to the playoffs.
Right.
And just some of his play reminds me so much of Jameis Winston and, what he's meant to this team. So, I was really excited to be a part of that. And, the atmosphere was awesome. And the one thing that I will say, uh, this game is close to selling out. I don't know if you knew that or not.
No, I got my tickets barely last week. I got
Yeah,
decent
so
seats too, and for a decent price. So
yeah. So where are you sitting at?
I'm in section 113, so I'm like on the Buck side line, 20-yard line on the south side.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah,
I
it ain't
was
too bad.
I was section 145 right by the pirate ship. So I was
Oh, okay.
catching beads and t-shirts and, you know, giving beads to kids that didn't get to catch them and that kind of
You,
thing. It
you
was fun.
didn't you didn't get me any beads? What the heck?
Yeah, I got you a souvenir coin though.
Oh, I think so. Yeah, I think somebody else got me one. So if you
Oh,
want
I
to save
did.
that for somebody else,
Yeah, definitely. I know
save
you
it.
got all the hookups.
sometimes.
Yeah, most of the time. Don't even stop being modest now. So, when you do shows like this and you're winning, it makes the show a whole lot better. And what I wanted to ask you, and I know you kind of touched on it a little bit, going back to that first game, the disastrous game against the Tennessee Titans, the one that pretty much everybody had Jameis Winston written off in. If you
The
move
Bucs fans
fast
were on the skyway ready to jump off.
and you fast forward to now, what are the things that you've taken away from this team? I mean, what things that do you see that the Bucs will continue to improve on going into next season, whether it's by picking up free agents or draft picks, and what are your thoughts on that?
Okay, are you asking me to compare
If you're
how
looking, if you're
far
looking
we've
at,
come?
if you're looking, yes, exactly.
Okay. I thought that's what you were saying. How far we've come. I mean, if you want to go back, because I believe I talked with you after that first Tennessee game.
Yes,
Because I said, let's not get too high, let's not get too low. I think is
right,
exactly what I told you. I said, I'm not freaking out. It's one game, right?
right.
And then there was a good stretch after that, the Titans didn't win another game. So
Hmm.
I think Mariota's doing well, and I think Jameis
Yeah.
has progressively gotten better. I think there's probably been the Carolina game was rough. That was the 4 interception game, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
That game was rough, but I also think not having a kicker really changed that whole outcome in ways that may have had Jameis forcing throws before he should have. Um,
Right.
but I think Jameis has really only had one game, and was it the Giants game maybe, or wasn't the Redskins game? Maybe
That
we
was
lost.
I
It
kind
was
of lean
either
on the
the
defense.
Eagles game or the Giants game, and I can't remember. But that was probably one of the worst games Jameis had played.
It was the
Thus
Giants game.
was it the Giants game. Okay, sorry, I'm losing my mind already. But in that game, that was probably Jameis's worst game, and even at that, it wasn't that bad. Coming from where we started at the Tennessee game, correct, right?
Yeah.
But he's progressively gotten better minus that one game. And even like I said, at that, it wasn't that bad. Going
Yeah.
forwards,
Hmm.
I think if, God, this kid is good though. Like, and just the intangibles that he brings, like you were saying, how contagious, his mentality is and all that stuff. It's just, there's so much as a Bucs fan to be looking forward to. And give it 3 years though. Like I temper my expectations. I don't want to, give him too much credit or build him up to the point where Bucs fans get disappointed. I mean, this
Right.
time in RG3's rookie year, everyone was so high on him.
Right.
Took them to the playoffs. They won their first game in the playoffs, whatever the case was. I don't remember. But look how high they were on him his first year.
Right.
And now he's like can't even get on the field. Not
Right.
saying that him and Jameis are the same in any case. I'm just saying
Yeah.
it's a little too soon to over project. Let's project, but let's not over project, So I definitely there's a lot to feel good about going forwards.
Yeah. T Money Straight Facts from Southbound and Down just mentioned. He said that the difference is Jameis Winston's taking better care of the ball, and he's definitely right on that. You see, Jameis Winston, the interceptions have gone down, and he's doing really good holding on to the ball and managing the game.
Oh yeah, Jameis. I mean, we saw this he only played 2 years in college,
Yeah.
I mean, this kid is just a phenomenal talent, and he's smart, and he loves the game of football, and that's exactly what we need. He said after all those turnovers, what do you have, like 9 or 7?
7.
God, I'm so bad. Sorry, I'm losing my brain. He had 7 interceptions, but it was like 5 early on or something, and he said, "I'm going to
Yeah.
work on not doing this."
Yeah. It was
Remember, he
4
said, "I'm going
against.
to work."
Right. It was
4
4
against
against
the
the
Panthers.
Carolina, and he threw a couple, or did he throw one against Tennessee? Is that what it was?
The first pass was a pick 6.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. There you
Um,
go.
but I can't remember, but everyone was harping on him. Oh, already here he goes throwing. It was probably after that Carolina game.
Yeah.
How many interceptions he had been throwing, And Jameis said, I'm going to work to correct this. And then he went on a 4-game stretch where he didn't turn the ball over. Like, he loves the game and he wants to get better. So those kinds of things that he brings to our team and, that infectious nature that he has is going to propel us so much further. And the fact that he's good with the same attitude is even better.
Yeah, most definitely. And that's the one thing that we've seen with him is he's a gym rat. He's in there continually working out. I remember seeing the pictures of him when right before camp started, and everybody was saying how overweight he was, and you saw all these memes
That
of
was an
him.
old picture. Remember
Right.
that came
Yeah.
out? That was such an old
Yeah.
picture.
But the thing is, if you look at him now, he's in such good football shape, and he's doing everything that he can to take care of his body. I mean, you're talking about a guy that's got over 2,800, almost 2,900 yards, 17 touchdowns with 11 interceptions. That's really good. I mean, for a rookie, I think that he's doing very well. He's broken Mike Glennon's record, and he's gonna break a couple more rookie records before it's all over with if he keeps up this pace.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, I can't say it enough. We have so much to look forward to if he keeps along this trajectory.
Oh, absolutely. Well, and that's I wanted to get a show in. We wanted to talk about the victory, versus the Atlanta Falcons, and being able to sweep a division rival is a good feeling.
Especially the Pigeons. Me no liking the Pigeons.
I like the Saints even less, but the losing culture that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have had for so long, it's just crazy how we've been able to turn that around, and things are starting to progress for us, and it's really exciting. So who are players, because I'm still, with all the changes that have been made with the Saints, who are some of the weapons that the Saints have that Drew Brees may be throwing to?
Marquise Colston, and Brandon Cooks. Those are not receivers to be sleeping on.
Right.
And then who the hell is their tight end?
Yeah, not Ben. I know you're talking about.
Yeah,
Because,
I know. Me too. I'm
because
losing
he actually came in and did as good as Jimmy Graham being gone. So I mean, not as good, but
I don't know if I go that far. But
yeah, I won't, let me take that back. He's done good. He's done good as a tight end coming in to replace a big loss like a Jimmy Graham.
yeah, poor Jimmy Graham, huh? Too all up
Yeah.
in Seattle, not getting shit. I don't
So
feel bad for him. Get the hell out of my division.
you know what? I'm just glad. I'm glad he's out of our division.
Me too. Get him out.
Yeah. So, with this game, and I know, like you said, you want to temper your expectations, but I think that this is a winnable game.
It's a
And the
winnable
one
game.
thing,
I'm just hoping it's not a trap game.
yeah, what the turnovers have just gotten to me, and I don't understand what prompts the turnovers, but I'm really hoping that it's something that the Buccaneers can. Benjamin Watson, here we go. Thanks.
Benjamin Watson. Yeah, that's the
Benjamin
name.
Watson. Yeah. So I'm really hoping that the Bucs can limit their turnovers and
Okay,
players.
but turnovers. If you wanted to talk about turnovers, this last game versus the Falcon, that pick was not on Jameis.
No,
And
that was
somebody said that it was Mike Evans. I thought that was Adam Humphries, but
it was Adam Humphries. It wasn't.
Okay.
It wasn't Mike
somebody,
Evans.
I think Derek on What the Buck said it was Evans, and I was like, no, that was Humphries. Either way, you can't put that on Jameis. That shit happens.
Yeah.
Put that on Humphries. That if you can touch it, you can catch it. Right.
Right, there you go. Yeah, when you're getting touches on the field, you got to take advantage of them.
Doug's fumble was the only other turnover, correct? Am I
Yeah.
missing anything? No.
Yeah.
So even at that, I'm not worried necessarily about these turnovers because Doug honestly does not have a fumbling problem. That was, shit happens.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to put that on Doug as long as Mike, catches the football. And
Yeah.
Austin
And you know what? And I kind of wanted to touch on that too, because I've heard a lot of people complaining about Mike Evans dropping balls, but he caught that ball in the end zone. And
he caught the one that mattered. And,
yes,
but
yes.
But a lot more of his catches could have mattered too. But let's not go backwards. Let's go forwards.
Absolutely, and you got to consider he's what I think he's ranked number 6 in the
Yeah, he
in wide
could be a
receivers
lot
right
higher.
now.
He could be
Yeah,
a lot
absolutely. But this is the sophomore year, and I just expect to see improvement, and hopefully that's what we'll see. So, with Mike Evans, the leading receiver for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers,
I have a
850
Falcons
yards.
fan yelling at me who's watching us on YouTube right now, and he's yelling at me that I'm not giving him a shout out. He's a
Okay,
Falcons fan. Why would I do that?
yeah, shout
Fair
out,
enough, right?
get that, hey, get those
Eric
brooms out.
Falcon,
Go
right?
ahead and
Eric
get that
Falcon.
broom out and give him a shout out.
That's my Aries Falcon. He's home. He's a homie though. We talk. We're
Yeah,
cool.
well, that's
He
cool, man.
congratulates us on our sweep.
Yeah. You know what? As many years as we had to watch them and Roddy White, there was an actual Roddy White sighting on the
I
field.
saw
Actually,
that. I was like, oh my god, he's still there.
yeah, I was like, wow, old man Winter's out there doing his thing.
Oh man, Winter. You're funny.
Yeah, and it's something. I remember talking to a couple of Falcons fans, and they were kind of dismissive during that 5-game winning streak because we had Dirk Cutter, but as the season progressed, and I know a lot of people won't say that a offensive coordinator doesn't make a big difference, but it
Oh
does.
yes, it does.
Based
You
based on
saw
it,
our 2-14 season last year, right?
exactly, and when you have somebody, when you throw in a quarterbacks coach in Arroyo and call him offensive coordinator, it's painful to watch.
Yeah, I think Cutter's addition was almost more vital to our team than Jameis. But I mean, let's just put them hand in hand and put them in a cute little box together and keep them there forever. How about that?
Absolutely, absolutely. I can't wait to see what they come up with this weekend and in games to come. So you were talking about the St. Louis Rams game coming up as well. What do you think about the St. Louis Rams? Because I know we probably will not get a chance to talk about this before that game on Thursday because it's a Thursday night game. What do you?
Uh, the problem with the Rams is you just don't know what team is going to come out there. You know, it just seems like they pull out these random games versus teams they shouldn't, and then teams that they should beat. It's like they totally, I don't know, forget their head in the bus. I don't know what the hell they
Yeah,
do, but they don't
it's
play
like they
well.
play down. It's like the Bucks have played down to the competition at times. I don't know if that's me, but that game against Houston, the Bucks should have won that game, and I wouldn't have wanted to depend on the kicker. I just wish they had done a little bit more than what they did. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. But there are games that they could have won, and that's what I worry about is them playing down to the competition. And T Money, who's watching the show, big Carolina Panthers fan, straight facts. I know you've watched him or heard him on Southbound and Down. He was saying the biggest thing on turnovers is to try to limit them, and when they do happen, have a defense that can minimize the damage. And fortunately for us, we're starting to see a lot of players come up like your Danny Lanzanas. Will Golston's been we had talked about before. Will Golston playing good. Just players that are stepping up to make those plays and try to limit the damage from a turnover. So they do happen. They happen. It is the NFL. But I think with the defense and the direction we're going, we should be all right if everybody's playing disciplined football.
We could be really good if Akeem Spence could drop like 7 pounds and run some sprints. Because that boy tried to run down a homie for a tackle and was sadly burned. Big boy, can't run.
Yeah, there you go.
I was like, oh,
Yeah.
my boy Spence totally got burned on that run. It was so awful. I felt bad for him. I'm like, 7 pounds. Just drop 7 pounds. You'll still be big
Yeah,
enough.
it'll change the
You'll
world,
be
right?
all right. You'll be all right.
So injury reports. I know that Levante David was kept out of practice today. They said that it's an ankle injury. They didn't say the severity of it. And Lovie Smith hasn't ruled him out for Sunday. Have you heard anything else about that?
I have not even been on anything today. I'm sorry.
All right.
I am failing at life this week.
Oh no, you know what? Your education is more important than football. There will always be
No, my
football to come.
education is for football, remember?
That's right. Hey, just remember, don't forget the little people when you get where you're going.
Oh, I would never. I'm like the nicest person ever.
I know this. I know this. Yeah, I was kind of my feelings were hurt. I thought you waited till I came to Tampa to come next week, just out of spite.
Oh, yeah, I'm paying you back for when you told me you were coming to the draft party and then didn't show up.
Oh yeah, okay. So that puts us as even then.
Yeah, that was all you, man.
Yeah, that was on me.
You
I
started
deserve
it.
that.
You
Yeah, I
you
deserve
you
that.
shots fired first.
All right. So, I know it's getting kind of late. I know that there are other things you wanted to do. I did want to do a show and, talk about the Atlanta Falcons game and talk about the Bucs game. Hopefully, because you've already been to the game, I would really love to get you on and talk about your experience or what you thought at the New Orleans Saints game and, next week. I know there's a Bucs game on Thursday, but I'm sure that we could fit it in somewhere between you getting back and before the Bucks game, right? Maybe.
So I don't get back home till like 11 p.m. on Tuesday.
Okay.
Wednesday, more than likely, I work. So, yikes, I wouldn't be home till this time, till right now.
Uh,
And then Thursday, there's the Bucks game. So, I
right.
mean, it could be after, but
Yeah, because that's kind of how we did with this game here. It was just after that. So we'll
right.
try to we'll definitely work something out.
We'll
So
keep in touch.
so before I let you go, let me get your three guys that you're the most impressed with so far throughout the season. I'll give you mine, and we'll call it a night.
Most impressed with. Well, it's hard not to put Jameis on that list, right? So Jameis Winston. Um, I would say I keep wanting to say Doug Martin just because I was so over it with him last year. I was so over it. I was ready, like, let's trade him, let's see what we could get out of him. And I'm so glad he has proved me wrong. I,
Yeah.
and I am glad. I'd rather be wrong about that than, other things. So I will take that. And so Doug Martin has really impressed me in the way he's come out and kind of trying to prove himself again. And I think, um, somebody else that's really impressed me is Golston. I've been on Golston's nuts all year about how well he's been playing. So probably Golston. That's just the first three that come off my head. I mean, of course, Quan Alexander. It's so hard. There's people on this team that have stepped up in different roles. So
Yeah, definitely.
I mean,
Well,
remember how much at the beginning of the season or preseason we were hating on Chris Conte? And
yeah,
I mean, there's been a couple times he's been burned or whatever, but he's actually stepped up more than most
he's
of
been
our
very
free
solid.
agent
He's been
signings.
very
Yeah,
solid, and there have been a couple of plays that he doesn't make it. It's 7 points.
right.
So my hats off to him as well. For me, I'm going to say Quan Alexander, who uh, he gets my vote. I know T Money was talking about this on Southbound and Down. He gets my vote for Defensive Rookie of the Year. The way he's playing,
Yeah, but
the
it sucks
fact
now that he's going to be out.
yeah, the fact that he's going to be out these last four games kind of hurts. So I doubt if he'll get it. But if I had my choice, it would be him. Sterling Moore is another player that I'm really happy with, and in his play, not every game is going to be perfect, but just the way he stepped in and stabilized a secondary from what it was is a real plus as well. And I'd have to say Doug Martin. I knew that I had heard all the stories of Doug Martin working out and being in the best shape of his life. And I'd said, in years past, and I know you remember this, Doug Martin is injured. Doug Martin is not 100%. And that's what we were seeing. I mean, when Shiano was running him into the ground, you kind of saw that, and he ended up with that shoulder injury. And I know the next year, I think he had a knee injury, and he just he had that nagging injury where he wasn't 100%. And this is the first season since his rookie season that he's been at 100%. And you could tell a world of difference with him.
Yeah, definitely. I love the way he's totally stepped back up. Hopefully he can continue this though. I'd like to see
Yeah,
this for a couple seasons in a row.
most definitely. And, honorable mention, I have to give it to Charles Sims. I see why Lovie Smith picked up Charles Sims where he did. and you can see where Charles Sims catching the ball out of the backfield is giving defenses fits because it's not something they're used to with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers going all the way back to Pontiac Williams.
Right. Pontiac Williams.
Yeah, Cadillac.
Did you really just do
Yeah.
that? Oh my goodness. Alrighty then. That's my Auburn boy. You got to be
Yeah.
careful there.
Yeah, that's right. I'm sorry. So, what bowl game? What bowl game is would Auburn get picked up to?
I don't know. Dude, my head has been buried in my finals. I don't know. I think we play
Okay.
Memphis. Like, I don't know what the name of the bowl is, though.
Okay. I'll have to look it up. We'll have to get that together. So,
Like, I don't know. I don't even know what day it is. I don't sleep. I haven't slept all week. I just haven't even packed. I leave at 4 in the morning.
Yeah, so you have a lot of work to do. Are you on the same time? Is it 10 o'clock there right now?
Yeah, it's 10. We're on your time now.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, for now. Can I count on you for next week, possibly?
I will do my very, very, very best. I always want to.
All right. All right.
We're on the same time zone now.
Yeah, absolutely. We can make it happen. So I want to thank everybody for checking out the show. It's a little bit more casual than it normally is, and I'm glad to have you on the show as usual. You have a great football IQ, and as usual, and you keep me straight on some things where I kind of get all off the rails at times. So it's good to have that kind of person out there that you could talk to or bounce things off of, and I really enjoy having you on the show.
Well, thank you. I always enjoy it. I'll come on whenever I can.
All right. So once again, tell everybody how they can get a hold of you, any special projects you're doing or anything like that.
Nah, I ain't doing nothing.
Just
find me on Twitter at Bucs_Princess. No, I got a month off. This paper that I have to write tonight is my last paper until mid-January. So
that is nice.
And then I have one more class for my bachelor's, and I am done.
There
I'm
you go.
I'm going to grad school, but whatever.
We'll have to do a congratulations show just for you.
And
everybody, my name is Gene. You can reach me at Super Heavyweight. You follow me, I'll follow you back. Definitely put the link up on Facebook and Twitter so everybody can check it out. Give me some likes, dislikes. Let me know, how we can improve the show, and I'll be more than happy to listen to it. So once again, thank you, everybody. Have a good night, and thanks for checking out the show.